Welcome to our basic science class. We are taking part 2 of simple machine, but we are going to look at an aspect of your basic science class that explains the molecular structure of solid, liquid, and gas. And then we are going to look at boiling and evaporation. Welcome to Class Online School. Here we deliver educational stuff. We run the Nigerian curriculum from js2 to js3. And we'll have a counseling corner, a sex education section, and our business talk. This is one of our classes, Basic Science. Are you new to the channel? Please subscribe. Are you a returning subscriber? Thank you for being here. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing here. Alright, so in our class for today, we are going to look at how these matters interact. Molecules, liquid, solid, and gas. First, it is said that solid is a molecule, that solid is packed together and they are unable to move around. Alright? Then in liquid, the molecules are able to move around, but are still relatively close together, but not as much as it is in its solid form. Then in the gaseous form, the molecules are spread out and are able to move freely. So when we look at the molecular structure of liquid, we see that it is structured in such a way that it is together, banded together, and cannot freely move around. Okay? Then we look at liquid. It is banded, but not banded together as much as the solid form. It can move relatively small, but not that much. But for gas, it can move together and they are not banded together. Let's take for example, if you put an ice cube in a container and it has not defrosed, they are just together there. Even if you shake it and turn it, you won't find any liquid. But if you put a water in a glass cup, it can have room to move a little. Right? Then we look at the water that have evaporated into the cloud in its cloud state. You see it flowing in the cloud. Let's try and use a pictorial illustration to explain the structure of molecule in its gaseous form, solid form, and its liquid form. This is solid. You see how it's packed together. It cannot interact. It cannot move because they are packed together. Now look at the liquid form of it. It's packed, but there are spaces that will help it to move a little. And then we get to the gas. You see there are spaces for the gas to move all around. So the molecular structure of liquid, solid, and gas are solid is packed. The molecules are packed together. They can't move. They are packed together. But in liquid, they are packed, but they can move a little, relatively little. But in gaseous nature, the molecules can move all around. So we've been able to explain the molecular structure of solid, liquid, and gas. Now let's explain boiling and evaporation. Boiling and evaporation. Let's look at the second objective, explanation of boiling and evaporation. Boiling is the change of state from liquid to a gaseous nature. The temperature at which water or any liquid begins to boil is called its boiling point. The point at which any liquid, whether water or any other liquid, can start boiling is called its boiling point. water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. All right. But now let's look at evaporation. Having seen what boiling is, we said that boiling is a change from a liquid nature to gaseous nature. And the temperature at which water or any liquid begins to boil is called its boiling point. And so once you start boiling, whether water, whether any liquid, remember that it's going to change from its liquid state to its gaseous state. We discussed in the first objective gas, liquid, and solid. Liquid, solid, and gas. So now we are looking at how boiling point changes these molecules from its liquid nature to its gaseous nature. So always remember that boiling of any liquid changes it from the liquid nature to its gaseous nature. And the point at which it starts boiling is called its boiling point. And that if it is water, it starts boiling at 100 degrees Celsius. Now what is evaporation? Evaporation is also called the process, involving changes from liquid to gaseous nature or gaseous state. It is, however, different from boiling in that evaporation can take place at any temperature. Remember that we said boiling point of water starts at 100% degrees Celsius. But in evaporating, boiling is different because evaporation can take place at any temperature. So let's take, for example, a simple experiment. You put water in the fire. Even if it has not started boiling, the vapor starts going. But in boiling, if it has not got to its boiling part, boiling has not taken place. So evaporation can take place at any point in time. It doesn't have a point in time that if it is not 100 degrees Celsius, it has not started evaporating. No, at every point in time, it can take place at any temperature rate. That is for evaporation. So we see that the two, both boiling and evaporation, changes from liquid to gaseous nature. But the difference between boiling is that evaporation takes place at any temperature, but boiling takes place at its boiling point. And another thing is that evaporation takes place at the surface. Evaporation takes place at the surface of the liquid. It starts evaporating out. Alright? Then, another difference that happens between evaporation and boiling is that at any temperature, evaporation can take place, like I've explained. And evaporation can take place both cold and hot. Both cold and hot water can evaporate. Ice cube can evaporate. Hot water can evaporate. So if you ice water in a cube or in a cup and leave it, as it's diffusing, it's evaporating out. So in its cold nature, it can evaporate. But in its cold nature, water cannot boil. It's only in its hot nature, and it has to get to a particular degree before you can say that the water is boiling. Alright. Both boiling and evaporation occur because some molecules have acquired sufficient energy to break away from the bounding force of attraction. Alright. Fast moving molecules are far away from other molecules, thus the force bounding them is weaker in both boiling and in evaporation. Both boiling and evaporation occur because some molecules have, that's what we have said, that they have acquired energy to move. So we have seen that evaporation can happen at the surface, it can happen cold or hot, it can happen at any temperature. Boiling only happens at its boiling point. So I've been able to discuss or explanation of boiling and evaporation. I've given you that. So take an experiment. If you put on your gasoline, put water or any liquid you want to get to its boiling point until it gets to that degree Celsius that brings it to a boiling point, it won't boil. And you can't say boiling have taken place. But for evaporation, as far as it's heated at any temperature, whether it's heated, hot or cold, it can happen at the surface. I give you an example. Please put your ice cube inside a cup and boil your hot water inside a cup. Cover it. You will find out that when you open it, there's going to be evaporated water on top of the cover that you used to cover it. Whether it's cold, whether it's hot. That's when you differentiate between boiling and evaporation. That's when you see evaporation in itself happening without boiling. Evaporation happening without boiling for the ice cube. But boiling, it has to get to its boiling point before you see those bubbles coming out. Always remember that both changes from its liquid form to its gaseous form or gaseous state. So that is our basic science class. We've seen molecular structure of solid, liquid and gas, and we've equally seen the difference between evaporation and boiling. This will be our basic science class for today. Subscribe if you've not subscribed, share the video. Thank you for being part of our class. Have any question, comment below the comment box. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in our next class. But always remember to be part of other of our corners: sex education, our counseling corner, and our business talk. You'll benefit. This class, this channel is to help build your total you, help you in every aspect of your life. And so please always come around and see what we have for you. We upload videos every fortnight, unless in extreme cases when we can come up with videos. But always stay tuned to the channel. Before the week runs out, you will have 2-3 videos to see or to watch on this channel. Thank you for being here. I will see you in our next.